Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm bringing this video to you once again out of all the videos that I have done for you. Remember, I do these videos out of love for my fellow man. Okay? Remember, my videos are not really monetized, which means I don't get any benefits from this. I just do this out of love. Because as the Bible clearly states, when you find the truth, you don't sell it, you share it. Okay? You share it, you don't sell it. So, my Creator compels me to share this with you. Now, first of all, I would like to invite you, once I publish this video, to go to the links that I'm going to send you. Because what I talk about here, I don't like to just talk out of my, you know what? I like to bring it, bring it real to you. Now, first of all, I want you to know too that we live in a matrix, a satanic matrix of lies. And I will send you proof of that as well. You just gotta think, you're gonna have to come out the box. You have to think outside the box in order to appreciate this knowledge. Because believe it or not, there's some things that you need to be aware of. We are living in the last days. Whether you want to accept that reality or not, it's up to you. My job is to bring this to you. The other fact is, and by the way, that we are in a spiritual war. Okay? As it clearly states in Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, the only version that I promote here, which is the King James Version. All the other versions are just a lie. Are just their interpretation of the Bible, what they want the Bible to, as long as it fits their narrative, as long as it fits their agenda. So, like the NIV, for instance. So anyway, the other thing that I want you to understand is, why do we even exist? Why is there life on this planet? And the reason is clear, beyond clear, because it is explained in the first chapter of Genesis, verse 26 and 28. Now, one of the links that I'm going to send you is, you're going to take a look for two things. First of all, the first thing that I'm going to, one of the links, I believe I will put it in the second link, or maybe the third link. They already started calling us conspiracy theorists, which is what they always do. See, when you label something, you keep the masses blind because you heard it in the news, CNN, fake news, all the media that they control, okay, including Fox. And remember, Fox stands for what? 666. Okay, do your research in gematria, and numerology. So, they control the media. So they already have labels ever since 9/11. And by the way, we are on a good group, because believe it or not, two people that will be on that group, guess what? Christ, whose real name is Yahushua, will be on that name. They will, in fact, they called him like that. They called him crazy. They even told him that he actually worked for the devil. See, that's how they do. They throw a lot of misinformation out there to confuse the masses. Because as long as you keep the masses confused, you will control the masses. Okay? So, another thing that I want you to be aware of, that the real as a heart attack existence of the devil. Now, who is the devil? The devil was the first angel that the Creator created. So he was the head of all the angels. And he convinced a third part of them to go against God, which doesn't make any sense. Because if you have everything, why would you wish for anything else? So you see, that's why the devil is stupid. That's why the devil doesn't make any sense. That's why he's illogical. And that's how we human beings are living. That's why we have twisted reality. We are living in a upside down world. And we live in a topsy-turvy world, ladies and gentlemen, at all levels. Okay? Hopefully this will be enough. I will have enough time to bring this out to you. If not, then I'm going to have to break it down into 2 videos. Hopefully not. I'm going to try to... I just want you to understand the basics of this video. Okay? Kind of the introduction. Okay? Because remember how the government on this planet have always governed. They have governed. They have always reigned over people with problem, reaction, solution. The Hegelian dialectic. So, the Hegelian dialectic, that's how they control this planet. Okay? And that's always been the game. Now, another person that would be considered another conspiracy theory and crazy would have been, believe it or not, you ready for this? Charles Darwin. The creator of, not the creator, I would say not the first one that brought out the theory of evolution, but the one that really pushed it hard. When he wrote his books, what was it again? The Origins of Species, something like that. So his theory has been completely destroyed because he himself said it. Okay, that if it can be proven that our cells have, basically, just to narrow it down what he said in his quote, if it can be proven that a cell has its own mechanism, my theory of evolution will be completely destroyed. So he would have been another one that would have been called a conspiracy theory crazy, because maybe he changed his mind on reality, because for the whole world, the theory of evolution is a reality. Because you see, what the theory of evolution does is it justifies our behavior, our mentality, and our very being, our very essence. Okay? And therefore, we don't care about what has been shown through our history, the culture of death. Humanity have been in love with death. Okay? Here we go. And that's where I want you to come. This is where I want you to bring you at. I want you to bring you to the point where this forced panic for the coronavirus. So, please, this is not fake news. This is not false news. Okay? This is not my perspective. What I'm telling you here is reality. Why? Because you can do your own research. You can do your own study. Unless you don't want to do anything and you say F everything and I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm just gonna believe what everybody believes. All right, let's go. Let me read you some of the things that I have that I prepared this, and hopefully I will have enough time. So the hypocrisy and the false panic of the coronavirus, which, by the way, these are things, ladies and gentlemen, check this out. These are things that were prophesied in the Bible. Okay? But the coronavirus itself is not a problem. And I'm going to prove it to you. What's the problem is two things. They have blown this thing out of proportions to justify a future vaccine that they're already talking about, which will actually give people the virus itself. Okay? That's the first thing. They have blown this thing out of proportions. And then the other thing is, if you keep the people scared, they are easy to control. It's all part of the agenda. Here we go. So, and the other thing, which was actually 3, is, well, again, I just said it. They're gonna give you the virus in vaccines. So it's a double whammy. Here we go. So these are the history, the recent history of viruses, because viruses have always existed. Ever since we fell from grace, from the grace of God when we was first created. Okay? And by the way, expanding on that, the reason we were created, the reason for life itself, before I forget, is their creator, God, wanted to multiply himself through us. In fact, we are the only creature created in his image, whether you want to believe it or not. The angels are not created, because the angels can turn themselves into any figure, into anything. Even the devil can show himself as an angel of light, as he says in Corinthians. All right, so here we go. And this is what I'm going to break down, is the hypocrisy and the false panic of the coronavirus. So here we go. In 1918, 100 million human beings died from what was called back then the Spanish influenza. And the people that got inoculated, the people that got vaccinated, were the ones that died. Now you may say, well, Ruben, why have many different, let's say that you ask this question, why have many empires been obsessed with death? Well, because once we fell from the grace of the Creator, it was all down here from that death. So the devil's disciples, which have been the government and many different empires. For instance, let me give you a perfect example. The Egyptian Empire. One of the main gods is called Anubis. And you know what he is? He's the god of death. Of course, we all know that the main god is called Ra, the creator of everything, the all-powerful creator. It's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. We are the clowns of all creations. So, for in every empires, in every human civilizations, we have always been in love with death. You know why? Because the devil enjoy destroying what God has created. Remember, the name Satan itself means the opposite. Okay? So here we go. Number 2. $650,000 people, more than 500,000, obviously, die from the regular seasonal flu virus. In the US alone, 12,000 can die. Back in the year, I believe, between 2017 and 2018, if I'm not mistaken, 61,000 died in the United States. Was there a panic? Was there a panic back then? Were they talking about a pandemic? All right, here we go. 3, the CDC. Okay? The CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control. It was founded back in July 1st, 1946. Number 4, WHO, the World Health Organization, which is controlled by the United Nations, ladies and gentlemen, was founded back in April 7, 1948. I'm going to tell you why I'm telling you. I'm giving you these dates. The United Nations themselves were founded back on October 24, 1945. Now, why am I telling you this thing? First of all, they are all connected. Do you think that it is a coincidence that they have, you go from 1946, the creation of the United Nations, to 1946, the CDC, and then you got the World Health Organization back in 1948? No, everything has been always connected. They're all three of these things are connected. It's like the IRS and the Federal Reserve Bank, which is the time when America was robbed. They both happened within the same year, back in 1913. Different months, same year, 1913. By the way, the United Nations building itself, which is in the state that I grew up all of my life, New York, was given to world leaders and directors by the Rockefellers. Now, you know the Rockefellers are Masonic Freemasons, all of them. And you know what Freemasons are. They are what I call the devil's disciples. Some people call them Illuminati. Some people call them, all kinds of names, but they're just the devil's disciples. In fact, if you want to join them, first of all, you have to be a man. 2, you have to believe in God. But which God? Their God, Satan. Because I'm not even going to call him Lucifer, because Lucifer that was his name back when he was in heaven. So the United Nations was created, which is number 5, back on October 24, 1945. And the most interesting thing of all is that of the United Nations is that this organization, ever since it was created, wars have increased exponentially. Let me give you a breakdown. I may not have enough time. I may have to do a second video, but 1950 to 1953, the Korean War. 1961 to 1973, the Vietnam War. Number 4, 1965, the Dominican War, which was is Caribbean nation right next to Haiti, in the Isles of Hispaniola. So, because the United States was afraid that since the dictator that was there, whose name was Trujillo, who was killed on 1961, ladies and gentlemen, he was killed. So the Dominican Republic was going through some unstable time, to say the least. So the United States sent the Marines back in 1965 to make sure that he wasn't going to turn into another Cuba. So here we go. 1982, the war in Lebanon, which is in the Middle East. 1983, the war in Grenada. 1989, the Panamanian War, which was it was against Noriega, remember? Somebody that the United States have previously put in. They didn't like how he turned, and they went after him. That's how they do. That's how the United States work, ladies and gentlemen. They put somebody in. When they don't like it, they use them to justify the invasion. 1993, the war in Somalia, to prevent widespread hunger. When the world leaders have been the one that have created, that brought about this problem. You see, going back to problem, reaction, solutions. Well, there's your solutions. Hallelujah. 1994, the war in Haiti. Really? Haiti is the poorest nation arguably in the whole world. And you invading Haiti? Well, yeah, there was something going on there. We wanted to, and then the United Nations forces moved in there. And if you only knew all the abuses that they have committed against the Haitian people. Number 1994 to 1995, the war in Bosnia. 1999, the war in Kosovo in Yugoslavia. 2001 to the present, the war in Afghanistan. Oh, I forgot another war, which is the, I jumped. The, where is it? Okay, no. 2001 to the present, the war in Afghanistan. And by the way, you want to know the real reason why the United States is there? It's not for oil. The United States got enough oil to last for decades. In fact, we have become the exporter of oil. We don't need no more oil. Okay? We are there because of the poppy leaves, the opium, which is $1 billion industry. And out of Afghanistan, 92% of all the poppy leaves come out of Afghanistan. So, here we go. From 2003 to 2010, the war in Iraq, where we supposedly killed Saddam Hussein, which is a lie. He's still alive. Because remember, Saddam Hussein, the United States put Saddam Hussein in power. And then once we attacked based upon false, what did I tell you? Lies. That Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, which it was a lie. Everything is a lie, ladies and gentlemen. This is a matrix of lies which will soon be destroyed. It will soon be baptized by God's fire, special fire. Where 1.2 million innocent people die just like that. When they had nothing to do with 9/11. The whole purpose was to what? To protect Israel. And of course, the never-ending wars in the continent of Africa. Now, that was number 5. I just gave you a breakdown of what the United Nations have done. So you see the hypocrisy? All right. Now, number 6. Are you ready for this? The abortions. More than 50 million babies are killed yearly, on a yearly basis, every year, okay? Every year, 50 million babies are aborted, more or less. Much less, it is more. In the United States alone, 1.6 million human beings are cowardly slaughtered and sacrificed to the God of this world, which is Satan. Because back in ancient time, God's people used to sacrifice, human sacrifice. And throughout all empires and human civilizations, they have always practiced death. In Babylon, they have always sacrificed to their God through human beings, human sacrifices. Babylon, the Persian Empire, Greece, with all of its different gods, and of course, the greatest sacrifice of all. Okay? Which is the killing of humanity's Savior, Yahushua, whom the world called Jesus Christ. But it doesn't make any sense because there was no J back then. The J is only 400 years old, 450 years old, I believe. Number 7, The use of cigarettes killed 480,000 people in the U.S. alone. Alcohol kills 88,000 people a year. And besides all of this statistics, don't you see the obvious hypocrisies? New York have just declared, I'm so glad that I don't live there anymore. That's why the Creator brought me out of there, because New York will have to be destroyed because he holds the U.S. economy. That's where all the big media is at. That's where Wall Street is at, the World Trade Center, everything. So, New York has declared a state of emergency because 76 human beings have been affected by a simple virus, which they have blown out of proportion because they have another agenda. In Italy, in fact, it is prohibited. It is against the law to shake your hand, to give a hug, and much less kiss. I mean, really, ladies and gentlemen? Don't you know what's going on here in front of your eyes? Okay? I tell you, I show you, I can prove it to you. See, this is the US dollar.